Welcome back down to Ice Level. We're back with the weekend recap after a few weeks off. As always, I'm your host, James Blennau, and we're getting closer to conference tournaments. Just a few weeks until March. With no major news in college hockey right now, let's jump in to Game of the Week. Number 20 Miami heads north to take on number 3 North Dakota. NCHC matchup for the week. Late second period, we start out Miami up 2-1. Ryan Smith picks the pocket and snaps it home. The Red Hawks extend the lead to 2. And in the third period, early on, Abram Wiebe finds Max Swanson open in the slot for the one-timer. Nodak cuts the lead to 1. Now 2 to go. 6-on-4, North Dakota. Jake Livanovich steps up to fire the rebound home, and we are tied. One of the nation's most dangerous power plays strikes again. And in overtime, Wiebe takes it himself and sneaks it by to complete the comeback. 3 unanswered to take 2 points. North Dakota wins it 3-2 to take 5 of a possible 6 points from the weekend. It's getting tight at the end of the season in the NCHC. Our upset this week, Brown held on for a 4-3 win over number 13 Dartmouth and head coach Brendan Whittett's final home game. A 57-place NPI rating difference was not enough to stop the Bears on their way to the first ranked win of the season. Ben Poitras' late game winner sent his team with 5 of 6 points from the weekend against Harvard and Dartmouth, giving the team some much-needed momentum. With only 4 games in the conference regular season left, Brown next heads to the North Country to take on St. Lawrence and Clarkson on Friday and Saturday. In the AHA, while Bentley looks to run away with the regular season title, Sacred Heart started to show cracks in the Falcons' armor. The Pioneers earned a 4-0 win in the first game of the road series. Vitaly Levy picked up a goal and an assist in the win, including the Pios' eventual game winner. Noah Ellis also picked up a goal and 2 assists in the win. With a chance to close out the title race next week, let's check out the standings. Bentley looking to run away with it right now with 50 points. RIT just behind them with 42 and Holy Cross at 39 in the top 3. Sacred Heart just behind the Crusaders with 36, tied with Robert Morris. Air Force 2 behind them at 34. Canisius at 33, and rounding us out, their neighbors in Western New York, Niagara with 24, Army with 23, and Mercyhurst with 16 points. And with Michigan State off for the weekend in the Big Ten, Michigan was the best team in the state as the number 2 Wolverines earned the shootout point in Game 1 and won 6-3 in Game 2 as number 6 Penn State came to town. Game 1 saw TJ Hughes score 2 goals and fellow star Michael Hage pick up 3 assists. For the Nittany Lions, Jackson Smith led the way with 2 goals of his own. Game 2 was much more Wolverine dominant as Nick Moldenhauer scored 2 and assisted on 1. While Hage and Hughes each picked up 2 assists. Let's see how close the race is to the number 1 seed and earning home ice throughout the conference tournament. Wolverines lead the way with a stunning 43 points, and Michigan State behind them with 39, Penn State with 33, and Wisconsin with 30. Ohio State and Minnesota in 5th and 6th, each with 22, and Notre Dame in 7th with 9 so far. In the CCHA, Lake Superior State is continuing its run as the spoilers in the conference, taking 3 points from 2 games at number 17 Michigan Tech. Ryan Beck's last-minute game winner secured the Lakers 1, and Rourke Appleby stayed perfect throughout the shootout for 2. Saturday saw them force the Huskies' late game comeback into overtime, securing yet another point against the title challengers, but falling to Tatum Tremblecki's game winner. As each game matters more with every week, let's check out the standings. Huskies lead the way with 48, but look out below, St. Thomas with 47 on their tails. Augustana with 45 just behind them as well, and Bowling Green with 43 in 4th. Minnesota State in 5th with 41, and a drop-off to Bemidji State with 32. Lake Superior State at 23, Ferris State with 18, and Northern Michigan with 12. In ECAC hockey, as the Big Red continue their bid for a tournament berth, their trip to the Capital Region saw disappointing results. Number 9 Cornell Won in the shootout against a struggling RPI team on Friday night, following only Aiden Long's game-tying goal in the third period. Saturday, though, Casey Jones' squad was flat-out beaten by Union as Ben Mothersbaugh scored the opener and the game winner at Mohawk Harbor. A late goal wasn't enough to spark a comeback this time, as the 4-1 loss forced them back to Ithaca with only 2 points from the weekend. Let's check out who's shaping up before the race to Lake Placid. Quinnipiac shaping up a strong lead right now at 44 points, but just below them Cornell and Dartmouth each at 38. Harvard below them at 32, and Princeton chasing Harvard at 31. Union sits in 6th with 27 points, Colgate with 25, Clarkson with 21, Yale with also 21, RPI with 17, Brown with 16, and St. Lawrence with 14. In the Hockey East, number 14, Boston College found itself in a similar position this weekend, splitting a home-and-home series with Merrimack. Game 1 in North Andover saw the Warriors score 4 unanswered, including Parker Lalonde's shorthanded tally to tie it in the second. The Eagles flipped the script, though, in Game 2 back home as they scored 3 unanswered, starting with Beanpot MVP James Hagan's power play goal in the second. Let's take a look at who's getting close to claiming a trophy in hockey's most chaotic conference. Providence building a strong lead right now with 42 points, UConn in second with 36, and Boston College chasing in third with 34. Boston University sits in fourth with 29, tied with UMass. Merrimack in sixth, tied with Northeastern with 26. UMass Lowell in eighth with 25, Maine in ninth with 24, followed by Vermont and New Hampshire with 21 and 20. And in the NCHC, while North Dakota held on for 5 points in its games this weekend, title-chasing rivals took 6. Number 8 Denver had a dominant road series in Omaha, winning the first game 5-2. James Rader scored twice as the Pioneers set the tone for their ambitions. Game 2's 3-1 win may have been less exciting, but still important. Rieger Lawrence's game winner in the early third sent the Pioneers home happy and also extended his scoring streak to 5 games. Let's check out how close the race is. Only 1 point separating these two teams at the top, North Dakota at 47 and Denver at 46. Western Michigan the only team close at 41, and a drop-off to Minnesota Duluth at 28, tied with their Minnesota rival St. Cloud State. Miami just behind them at 25, Colorado College with 24, Arizona State with 19, and Omaha with 18. Michigan State takes first place with 37 first-place votes, followed by Michigan with 10 votes, North Dakota, Western Michigan, and Quinnipiac in 5th with 3 first-place votes. Penn State, Providence, Denver, Duluth, and UConn round us out in the top 10. Cornell, BC, Wisconsin, Dartmouth, and St. Thomas take us to the top 15. Michigan Tech, Minnesota State, and Augustana down to 18. A big CCHA stretch there. And UMass and Miami round out the top 20. In the forecast this week in the NCHC, number 9 Minnesota Duluth heads to Oxford for a 2-game set against number 20 Miami. In ECAC hockey, number 11 Cornell heads south to take on number 5 Quinnipiac in a highly anticipated rematch of Conference Titans on Friday night. In the Big Ten, it's another clash of the Titans as number 2 Michigan goes to the Madhouse for 2 games against number 13 Wisconsin. In the CCHA, number 18 Augustana meets number 15 St. Thomas for 2 games that could decide the title race in Minnesota. And finally, in the Hockey East, number 12 Boston College and number 10 UConn meet for a home-and-home in Chestnut Hill on Friday and Saturday in Hartford. With this many ranked games on the slate, you know where to come next week. Thanks again so much for coming down to Ice Level. I'm James Blennau, and we're not experts, but it takes fans to grow the game.